So what do you do when you're feeling toxic shame? What do you do? Brene Brown says there are 3 basic steps to handling emotional setbacks like shame. Okay. So she says the 3 steps are, reckoning. This is where mindfulness and self awareness come in. This is the step where you realize you're having an emotional reaction to something. So the idea is to become curious so you can explore it more fully. The second step is rumbling that Brene Brown talks about, rumbling. Now that you recognize you have this reaction, right? This emotional reaction, you got to pay attention to the narrative or the story you're telling yourself about what happened. Like you have to decide, is this true or is it not? What's the dialogue you're having with yourself in your head? Because they're probably 2 different things. The truth and the dialogue are 2 different things. So it's really reality checking. Who says? What else could be true about this? The goal is to have a new understanding of your thoughts so you can act, not react in situations. And I highly recommend what's called the ABC format for this, which was created by Albert Ellis. I have an RET, it's called rational motive therapy, the way you do this, the way you think different about a situation. I'm going to link to an exercise. I have it all written out for you. Okay. How you do it. A, B, C, D. You can just download the exercise itself. I'm realizing that's the most love I could give you right now. This is something I give to my private clients. I'm happy to share it with you and it'll take you through this. So there you go. I'm going to really, even after this, I'm going to give you all the tips and then you can come download. It's free when you download. More nitty gritty. All right. And then the third step she talks about, Brene Brown talks about, is revolution. Now that you're noticing your reaction and the faulty thinking associated with it, it's time to change how you're interacting with other people, right? This is from her Rising Strong book. But again, when you're here with me, you want more nitty gritty tools. So here are other tips to keep in mind. Number 1, changing the narrative. You've got to create an inner dialogue that has self-compassion, self-acceptance, forgiveness. And you really do that with something called cognitive reframing. And at its most basic level, cognitive reframing helps you look at a situation or a person or a thought or a feeling from a different angle, a different perspective. It's really a strategy that helps you open your mindset to a new point of view. Again, like a new angle on what's happening so you can think differently about it and learn how to let it go, learn how to move on, how to get, quote unquote, get over it. And it's crucial because what do I say all the time? You feel the way you think. So changing your thinking about something will change your feeling about it. That's how you go from feeling crappy to feeling at peace about something. You can't stop letting it bother you and stop thinking about it, right? Just by saying that, right? But you can stop overthinking. You can stop thinking about it by really doing these tips. That really, the cognitive reframing really takes you through. And along with this rational emotive therapy exercise, the RET exercise I said you could download, they're the same thing in different ways. They really are. It's the same thing. It's how you feel the way you think. You got to change your thoughts to change your feelings. I would say the other tip I really want is that the secrets have to go. Shame needs to be taken out of the shadows and shared with at least one trusted person in your life. And a trusted person, this is that person who loves you no matter what and is there with no judgment. Okay. So if you don't have a person like that in your life, and even if you do, I highly recommend connecting with a reputable therapist if you're dealing with toxic shame. If this is stuff you can't stop overthinking, you're ruminating about, it's really getting in your way, please get professional help if you can. If you can find someone, that person that always says yes first and then asks questions later, or you can, have the conversation and start with, listen, I have to tell you something that's really hard for me. I've been carrying a lot of shame about something. I do not want any reaction except love and no suggestions, no advice, no nothing. Just that I'm okay, that you love me, even though you're hearing this. Is that something you think you can do? Ask. Set the conversation up for success. Don't self-sabotage. Don't set it up to not work. And so talking about it, taking out of the shadows, being vulnerable in a safe environment will help release toxic shame. I will also tell you another tip: learn more. Get your education on about shame. Make sure this isn't the last thing you listen to or read or, watch about how to overcome shame. You've really got to spend some time on this. If you use the RET tool, the little tool you're going to download, if you use that, once, it's going to be great. Okay, good. Or maybe not great. Maybe nothing will happen. But, you got to stick to it, right? Anything you want to get better at takes hours of practice, takes repetition, right? Takes the frequency. So please don't give up. Don't do something, don't try this and go, oh, I'm not better yet of my shame that I've been carrying for 30 years. I've been trying this for a whole month. Are you kidding me? Like, it's going to take some time. That's why some people stay in therapy a long time. It's going to take a minute, but do the work and you will notice changes. That's sort of how it works. You got to believe in yourself. I believe in you. I have faith in you. I know that if you're listening to me, you want to change your life and you're smart. That's what I know. I know it. You want to understand really what this is. This isn't soundbite stuff. This isn't 30-second things. This isn't even 15-minute things that's going to make the big change. You have to really think about that. If you played tennis for 10 minutes a day, would you expect to be Serena Williams in a month? I don't think so. But if you spent hours a day practicing and really giving a lot of attention and focus to it, and watching your food and doing other exercises, yeah, you wouldn't play like Serena by the end of the month, but you'd certainly be really good, a lot better than 10 minutes here and there by the end of the month. It's what you put in. So I have to say that in these days of people wanting immediate gratification all the time for everything and little sound bites and reels and, shorts and all that, I get it. I like them too. But when you're really trying to shift something that's been there a while, you're going to need to spend some time. Number 4, my last, I think, tip is you got to know your triggers. So, if there's something you feel insecure about, it probably has its origins in shame. So maybe you had a crappy mom and now you're worried that you're not a good mom. So when your partner, makes an observation about your parenting, you get defensive and angry. So there are many triggers, but Dr. Brown, Brene Brown says that the primary shame trigger for women still remains physical appearance, while for men, it's the fear of being seen as weak. Isn't that interesting? Those are those primary triggers.